Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and you might not be aware of all the new processors and everything coming out, but AMD is launching the 9 series, I guess, that's supposed to be coming out on July 31st of this month of 2024. Now, the reason I bring that up is most of the live streaming systems that I've been building have been using the Ryzen 3, 5, and now 7, 5, and 7 APUs where they have the GPU and the CPU is on the same chip. I've been using them for a while. Went for the 2400G, then moved to the 3500, and then more recently I've been using the 5600 and the 5700G. So now that we're moving to the 9 series, I never jump all the way to the top. I'm going to now move over to the 8600 because it's about a $50 to $100 difference in building that system. So that's what we have right now. We're back to building some systems, and this is actually a system for a church that I am going to be installing some digital walls pretty soon, and this is going to be an upgraded system to take advantage of that, as well as running Propresenter with some more features. So let's go over the specs, and because I'm so close, I need to kneel down so you can actually see everything. So the main thing right now is we're using the AMD Ryzen 5 8600G. This is the same series, the 8 series of the processor that I normally would use. Very, very powerful system. Now this is a different socket now. Instead of being pins on the chip, the pins are on the motherboard, but I'll show you how to do that. Really straightforward. Now the memory has gotten really cheap, but we're also going to DDR5, and typically I would do a 16 gigabytes of memory, but the price that I was able to get 32 gigabytes was like $75, and 16 was like $65. $10 for double the amount. So yes, so we got 32 gigs of memory. This is from T-Create or Team T-Create. I forgot the name of who is this? Yeah, Team Group. I don't know why I'm saying the other ones, but this is running at 5600 megahertz. You can get it faster, but this should be fine. We're going with the MSI, and I just dropped something. The MSI B650. This is a full ATX motherboard, so we're going to be able to leverage. I need some more PCIe slots for some other stuff that we're doing here. So we got that. It does have Wi-Fi built in, even though I'm not going to be using that much. We're also going to be installing, again, we're using Propresenter here. We're going to be installing 2 mini monitors so that one will go to the digital wall, the other one will actually go to the stage display, and then I think I actually ordered a second monitor for no reason, but one of the outs, the main display outs that the CPU, GPU is going to be providing, that is going to be a mix for the live stream that's going to go directly to the ATEM that they have there. So that's what we got. Now, what did I drop? I think I dropped the motherboard. I mean, not the motherboard, but the hard drive. Anyway, we're going with a 650 watt power supply from AJaytheCEO. I've been using them a lot. Very good power supplies, bronze certified, and they're not expensive. So let me see what I dropped. I believe it was the hard drive. Yep. Was the hard drive. We're going with a Western Digital 1 terabyte NVMe. There we go from here. And we're going with the Be Quiet case. This is the Pure Base 500. I've built with this a couple of times. I really want to migrate all of my systems to this, mainly because this is the first one that I was able to find that actually has a USB-C on the front. This one doesn't, but the other Be Quiet cases that I'm looking to upgrade my stuff to is going to go with that. But anyway, enough of me talking. Let's do some building, and I'm going to walk through all of this. So it's not going to be a lot of me. It's just going to be mainly some overheads with everything that we got going on here. So let's get the case out of the way. Power supply, we'll come back to that. Our adapter cards we don't need right now, and mainly we're just going to focus on the motherboard and the memory and the processor. All right. And maybe we can do our super source here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I got my tools, my iFixit tools. One of the best investments I've put into building systems and all this other stuff like that. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start out here with our motherboard. And I'll be honest, I've worked with the Be Quiet case before, and I've actually made a mistake, which I have greatly learned from. So I will hopefully call that out so that y'all can avoid that as well. All right, so right there, that is the new socket that the chip just lays in. So be very careful not to damage any of the pins on this, because you mess that up and you're gonna have a problem. Now we got the screws here for our NVMEs and our antennas and all this other stuff. Now I personally like to use the box as my base for when I'm working on the motherboard. Alrighty, got it there. So now with my tools here, let's go ahead and open up this CPU here. And this does come with a fan, so you don't have to worry about that much. Be very careful not to drop this. And the casing is actually different than the last time I used one of these. So let's get a little close up on everything. So like I said, there is the socket right there and our chip. Get that out of here. All right, so let's go ahead and pop this open. And then this comes up. And this comes out. It's kind of difficult to do this with one hand. Let's do that again. There we go. I got that up out of the way. And there is let me get the camera back there. See, there is a mark right there that you can tell that's the corner of where the CPU needs to go. And you can tell the CPU also has that mark right there. So just be mindful of that. So as you can see, there are no pins on this, and we're looking for that mark right there. We're just gonna line that up. It sets flush. Drop that down. And that's it. CPU is done. We're gonna save our stickers, and I don't like how they got these wedged in here now. And it doesn't come with a GPU one. Normally the stickers would say that they actually have a Radeon GPU, so I'm gonna make sure we got here. So we got this one actually is Ryzen AI, so I have some AI chips in here. So right here it does say with AMD Radeon graphics. So I'm glad. Just need to make sure, because if not, we had to go get ourselves a GPU to go in there. All right, so we got that done. Now let's go ahead and mount our NVMe. We're gonna go ahead and put this on our first one right here. And typically on the bottom of here, we have some, for the heat sink, we gotta take this piece of plastic off here. Set that right there, and we get our NVMe. Now this is the good thing is it's not really that many other drives that we're adding. We could add another NVMe there, but in this case, we are not doing that. And I have a hangnail that makes this actually hurt to put my finger in there like that. And I got a bunch of junk to my right here. Now this is a Gen 4 NVMe, it just leverages the speed. And as you can see, this doesn't go all the way here, so we need to go and get some of those standoffs that were in here. So like this standoff right here. And it looks like it's a little flap that just keeps it in place. So let's go ahead and secure this down. All right, so let's get our NVMe. And I'm wondering how that's actually gonna work in there. I wonder if you clip it on after the fact. Oh well, that worked like that. Now this is the first time I've messed with this board. I must say I'm not liking these standoffs. Trying to see, guess they don't wind up like I thought. Worst case scenario, I do have some other standoffs from some other motherboards, but well, we got it there. So if we punch in right there, you can see that little standoff right there. Hopefully the zoom is working well on that. But we got it there. And now we're just gonna put the heatsink over top of that. So we got the 3 holes right there. We'll line this up. Screw right there. This one right there. All right, that ain't going nowhere. So yay, that is done. And normally when I build a system like this, I would throw all the trash inside the box for the case. But again, I'm using this case to take this, to deliver the system to the church. So gotta be mindful of that. Can't put no trash in there. All right, so I'm gonna go back and put the CPU fan on here. Let me just get this plastic off here. All right, so now for our CPU fan, just gonna, first we gotta take these off because these screw right into the motherboard. So let's take these standoffs off. And this is the other reason why I use the box, and it gives me a base to kind of hold this, because there's a plate on the other side that normally drops off. So that's why I like doing this, and I'm not inside of the case, because then you just got to juggle that stuff, and so that this plate right here doesn't fall off. And as usual, all the links are down below to all the parts that I'm using. And pretty much officially, I'll be updating my website so that if you want me to build one of these for you, these are the parts that are now going to be the base of what I'm doing. So this is probably, the price is going to change by maybe like $50 to $75 just to offset the change. But again, this is just the nature of how stuff goes. It's getting more expensive. So we're going to just screw in a couple of times, and we're going to do in a clock fashion. I normally do about 3 turns in each corner just to get the lock in. That one is tight, that one is tight, that's tight. And there we go. So now we're set. Now we have to look for which one is labeled for the headers for our CPU, and this one says CPU fan. So we'll plug that into that one. All right, and we got to make sure that this doesn't get bound up or anywhere. All right, so next is our memory. I always skip 2 and put these in here. I believe this can go up to, I mean, at minimum it can go up to 64. I think it can go higher than that, how much memory can go in this. But I believe this is going to be a beast of a system. This is more than enough to do live streaming, but again, this system is going to be for running Propresenter. So Propresenter on PC or Mac is still known to have some bugs. I mean, it's made by people, so people will have, inherently there will be some flaws in the software, so it's not perfect, but it has been rather stable. You give it enough horsepower to do what it needs to do, and then you should be good to go. All right, we got our memory in there, and that is mainly it for that part. This is done. We're not using any of the SATA cables because we're not adding another drive into it. We do need our back I/O shield. Most of the other motherboards, the higher end motherboards, have this I/O shield built in to the motherboard, which makes this so much easier to do. It's so many times I've done this and then this stuff will get bent, and then I have to pull the whole thing out because a pin got bent and something didn't come out right and all this other fun stuff. Really wasn't fun, but I like to call it that. All right, so let's set this. Let's move Mjolnir here. Let's set this aside for a second. All right, next thing we're gonna do is get our power supply. And see, this is the box I can leave all my junk in. That is for our testers, cable wraps, plug, wrap, and I can throw all my stuff inside of here that I don't need. I have plenty of those testers, so that's why I don't need that. All right, let's set that aside, and now we're gonna work on the case. And just that quick, I was like, where did I put the I/O shield? All right, so let's zoom out a little bit more. So now, let's take each one of the side panels off. And again, I know I feel very humbled and very appreciative that there are so many of y'all who follow me who you felt empowered to actually build your first computer. I know a couple of them. Phyllis comes to mind, Anthony comes to mind, and it feels really empowering. Pastor Felicia, when you do this for the first time and then you see what you're able to do, and then honestly, most of the people after they've built, they're like, I'm never buying a computer again because you've been able to build it yourself. All right, so we got our little shield right here for our power supply. Let me get myself some space. We're gonna put this on here. And did I put it upside down? All right, so it's gonna go right here. We're gonna get some of those screws that were in the bag here. And most of the time the motherboard and the case, actually the case comes with a set of these screws too, but this is what I have here. And I do like this little cage because if you want to upgrade this, you can actually, you don't have to pull the whole motherboard apart and the whole computer apart just to get this. You disconnect it and then you can slide this thing out. And like I said, this could be a very good system for live streaming as well too. I have no need to upgrade mine right now. I have been tempted to try and upgrade into the latest stuff, but honestly, I really have no need for it. I'm running Ryzen 9 on my streaming system over here. Well, actually, all of my systems, I believe, are Ryzen 9s, I believe. Yeah, every system I have here, my streaming system, my editing system, and my own cast system, all of those are Ryzen 9, so I have no need to upgrade anytime soon. But mine is working very well for me, and I actually was putting this upside down. See, the fan actually needs to face down. So pull all my cables out here. All right, and now let's secure these. All right, that's good. We'll save this for some cable management. All right, so now let's flip this over on the back. Now this case comes with a mesh top or the solid top. I personally like the solid one because this isn't going to be generating that much heat, but I will set this aside and let the church decide which one they want to. Now this is where I messed up before with this case. This right here, this whole panel can come off. So I'm unscrewing it right there. And see, this whole thing comes out. And this is where I messed up because I need to feed my cables through here. All right, so now that we got this done, let's move our power cables out of the way so they're not pinched, so we can lay the whole system down flat. We get our IO shield, and like the flaps like these are the ones that I'm talking about that sometimes I would have an issue with. So let's punch in these little flaps right here. If I can get it in focus here, so y'all can see. Yeah, see those little flaps right there? I would put this and they get wedged up under the motherboard, and sometimes I have them wrong. So I always pinch them up a little bit so that I can get in there. So we're gonna wedge that in there. Let's give it a little bit of pressure. So it snaps into place. So see, there it goes. And now we're looking at the standoffs in here. And for the most part, with an ATX motherboard, you should not have to do anything else. So you should be good. Now, one thing I did not do, on the bottom of most cases, I mentioned it, but I didn't even pull it out. There's a box here that has all the other screws that you would need. So extra screws for the power supply and all that other stuff are in here. So we got those. Put this over here in my trash box because we're going to need that because we need the screws to secure the motherboard to the standoffs that we just talked about. So we got some more cable ties. And these are the screws that we're looking for. This is for hard drives if we were adding them. These are for the motherboard. So dump these over here. And now let's get our motherboard. And then sometimes you got to take this fan out, but this is a bigger case, so I should be able to wedge this in. So we're just trying to wedge this in here, make sure we get this lined up so that it's above the pins. Those pins I was telling you about are not stuck in here. And then we make sure that they line up. Normally this one right here, that pin right there, actually isn't a screw, it's an alignment. So I pushed it in there, so now it's aligned. And there's a screw that goes here, 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 and then 3 back here. So now, let's go ahead and secure the motherboard there. And again, you do not have to tighten this with the hand of God. You tighten it too much, these standoffs will come loose when you're trying to unscrew it, and then you got a problem. And tell me, because I have done that before. So you just need enough to secure it so it's not going to go all over the place. I mean, and honestly, outside of the extra cards that we have to add, I mean, we're literally almost maybe about 70% done. Again, if you're forcing some of this stuff when you're building your computer, you're probably doing it wrong, because most of this stuff is set up to where you can't put it the wrong way. So if you're trying to force it, it's most likely you're trying to put it the wrong way. And I love building computers. It's like Legos. That was my favorite toy growing up. So it's just like the same thing. All right, all of our screws are in. Now we also have our case fan here. I'll probably secure this a little bit more and run this behind the case. I mean, on the other side of the case. So I can secure this here. So we're gonna push the fan cable through this way, because the other fan header is right here, actually on the front. So we're gonna feed this through, and this is gonna go through the grate, like actually right there. So we'll come back and do that. Or maybe we can push it on there now, because I don't have anything else that I need to attach. All right, so we put that little bottom piece on there. So now we got to start fishing our cables through the other side. So again, this vent allows you to slide the power cable in here to keep it more hidden. We're going to secure it with this channel that they already have provided here. And actually, I thought that screw went to this. It's just this one up here that's holding it in place. It feels kind of loose. Oh, because I didn't put it inside of that lock. That would be the reason why. There we go. So we fed that through. Now there's another case fan cable here. So let's loosen this up so we can get to that one. And we'll secure all this, but I'm gonna feed this through. And there is a header at the top of the motherboard right here. So we should be fine there. And I think the other one is gonna be closer on this side. So we just feed this through here. Now we also need to provide power, additional power to the motherboard for the CPU. And that's normally labeled on here. So this one right here, see, that's CPU right here. So we're gonna feed that through this hole right here. And make sure when you're looking for your power supply, this one needs 2 8-pin headers on here. So this power supply had that. So be mindful when you're getting a power supply that it has enough connections for everything that you need. Now, if I had a GPU, an additional GPU that needed power, these cables are right here. So I like to set these aside that can get access to them, but I highly doubt they're gonna do this. So if I was building this for somebody, or like if you buy a computer from me and I'm building it, I normally have that set aside like in a pocket over here. So if you added a GPU, it's right there. But we're gonna take the Velcro zip ties, not the plastic ones, make it easy for coming back and making changes. We'll secure this as tight as possible. And we'll put it in the little basement right here. Get that stuff up out of the way. Now we also have the motherboard cables. This is for the USB 3 right there. This is for audio. And this is for the connections of like the power buttons. So for our audio, there's another little hole right here. I feed that up under here so we can plug, because that connection is right here on the motherboard. And then these other ones, we can come up from the bottom the same way, but I think this is what I think I had an issue with the USB. So I need to see where this USB place is, and that might determine where we change the routing for this. So let's flip this up. And let's see where everything is. So the 3.0 is right there, so that makes it much easier than what I did. And there's a little tab right here. So again, you can't put this the wrong way, and it will slot right into place like that. Now down here is the audio, which is right there. And again, the pin has certain places here. You can't put this the wrong way. If you do, you're forcing it. We line this up right there, and boom, there it goes. And then now we also have to do our power. So I'm not saying it, I am getting older, I'll put it this way, but I don't know if they're silk screening the words on here a lot smaller than they used to, but sometimes it makes it a little difficult to read this stuff sometimes. But the good thing is the power supply ones are these top pins over here. That's one. Let me redo that. That's for the power LED, and then the switch is right beside it. Now this is just out of habit how they do this, so I know that, but in the manual with the motherboard, and most of them don't come with it anymore, there's a QR code that you can read up and it tells you where it is. But again, it's silk screened on here, but it's so small, I'm not able to read that right now. All right, so here's our fan header. So we can connect that right there. Push that down in there. Then our main power is gonna go here. Make sure you got enough room to leverage that and spin it all around. Should clip into place. You don't want to bend it too much because you might damage the motherboard. We're going to make sure it clips on. There it goes. Now we have our power. So right here, I don't know if you can see it, we have the 4 pins. So I'm trying to leverage all the cameras so y'all can see. So right there are the 4 pins, and I have no light. So it's right there in that corner. There are 4 pins right there. So that's what we need to connect our power supply to. So as you can see, we have 4 of these. So it doesn't matter which order you put them in. And these actually slide together, so we're going to join these because some motherboards have two 8 pins. Some have 1 8 pin and then another 4 pin. So that's why they have this separated. So it doesn't matter which order you put it in, whichever way you can get it connected. That's 1. And that's 2. All right, and now our other fan, this one is listed as a system fan. That's where we're gonna plug this other one in. The other one is for an all-in-one water cooler, and that's for a pump. You don't wanna hook up a fan for that because the motherboard is expecting a pump, not a fan. So don't do that. So besides that, we got this. So now let's unscrew the IO shield back here. And then we're gonna put in our 2 Decklink mini monitors here. These are 16 slots, so this is more than enough for that. So don't feel like it's a waste, but so you can pick whichever one you want. I'm gonna put them apart so they have some breathing room. There is a fan. Well, actually these don't have a fan on here, so I'm gonna give them some space so that, you know, the fan that's inside the case can get in between them and blow air on them and cool them off and all that other fun stuff. And we're adding to our sticker collection. For those who watch, and y'all know that I collect these stickers, guess how many of these that I have? You never know. You get the right number, I might do a giveaway or something. All right. We just got to align which IO shield. We got to remove it from the back. So that's this one. So that's card number 1. And then card number 2 is going to be all the way at the end. And if you wonder why I keep turning around, I want to make sure my audio is still good and it's still recording, because I've done this many a times where I've built the system and then I've done a video and then all of a sudden the audio wasn't done right, and that was a pain. And I just noticed I'm not recording on my mixer as a backup. So we're adding 2 more stickers to my collection. Like, and I say this not to, I mean, I'm just having a conversation with y'all while I'm building this. You would think with all the recommendations for BlackMagic stuff, Unify stuff, certain processors, AMD, or you would think I would get a sponsorship or something from them by now, but no. All of this I've spent with, well, this is spent with the client's money that hired me to build this system for them. But anything other than that, most of the time I buy it myself so I can bring that knowledge to y'all. All right, so we got the shield done. Screw this back on here. And at this point, all we have to do is verify, well, we got to fix our cable management back here, put our sticker on, and guess what? We are done, folks. So these are the Velcro ones that they provided. So let's re-secure those. And if you had SSDs, not the NVMEs, but the old classic ones, they could be screwed in with right here. That's what that other bag of screws was for that I was telling you about. So I'm gonna loop the power cable into this one just to secure it. Try and pull it as, get the slack out of there. And then this other one I'm gonna use over here for this cable. I mean, I almost have enough room to bring it over here. I think I might actually do that. All right, so we got that there. We'll tighten down some of the other cables that they got. And guess what, folks? We're done. All we got to do now is power it up. And I thought I brought my portable monitor in here, but I do have a connection. So I'm going to connect this to the system so y'all can see it. And this is the top I was talking about. So I could put the vented one here, but we have this one here. So let's finish with the last piece that we got to do. I'm going to put our sticker on here. And I thought I had some more Radeon stickers. So again, this is the 8000 series right there. Now, even though I'm not going to use it, they do have the Wi-Fi antennas are built into the motherboard. And my autofocus is off. See, I'm just checking. See, you see all that we did to come here and find out if this was bent? I would have to pull all of that out again to get that straight, which would stink. And most of the time when I do a build like this, I encourage, well, actually, I don't even give most people an option when I'm doing the install. If I'm doing a system, I don't enable Wi-Fi so they can use it because we're gonna run a hardline connection here. But again, this is not for live streaming. This is for just for presentation, but still out of habit, I don't do that. All right, so we got the system done. We got our MK120 wired mouse and keyboard. I always pick this with the systems that I do. And I always include a mouse pad with that, but I got my big mouse pad that I have here, and a bunch of y'all, we still sell that on emissionarygear.com. If you like the scripture desk mat, you can get that there. So now what we're gonna do is, now that we got the whole system installed, I'm gonna speed through this, and I'm gonna install Windows and get all that stuff activated, and we'll get the software installed, and then that will be it for this build. So let me get that done. Alrighty folks, so we're all done. The system finished installed, got everything installed. It took longer, not because of the system. My NAS died, so that has everything on it. So it took me a minute to I'm still working on getting that fixed, to be quite honest. But anyway, we got everything here. So let me cut over here so you can actually see what's going on with the system. So as you can see, we got Windows installed. We have our software installed. We're going to go over here to the the desktop video, so you can see both of the cards are there. I'm actually going to come in here and give them a name. Helps me separate them. So this will be monitor 1. And hopefully these names carry over into presenter. So we're able to differentiate those. I also have the ATEM software on here just in case. So the software Propresenter was just installed, so this is going to be the very first time it's opened up. But while that's doing that, let's go ahead and look at the task manager. I still need to activate Windows. So we come over here, there's the 8600G. And there we go. So that's 1, 2, 3. Actually, I can't even see from here. So that's 12 cores. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's 4. That's 12. 12 cores inside of here. Then we do have our GPU there as well too. And as you can see, it's registering all of our memory, 32 gigs. And we'll just go through the basics in here. I can't remember if they're already using Propresenter or not. So right here, this is where we can set our audience screen. So we can come over here, and yeah, thankfully the names carry over. So we can say this is monitor number 1, and we'll do this at 1080p 60. And then monitor 2 is going to be for the stage display. And actually, did I get the right resolution? No, I didn't. I picked the wrong one. There we go. And I don't like sharing that stuff. We're going to download some sample content. We should be able to continue while it's doing that. Yeah, it's still running, so that's mainly about it. We're gonna let it finish running, and like I said, we're gonna be installing this. This is the system for 31st Street Baptist Church here in Richmond. That's what's actually gonna go here, and this is gonna be paired with a digital wall. One of the outputs, monitor 1, is gonna feed what's going to the digital wall. And then the other output is going to go to the stage display, and then one of the other outputs here, or a third one, I don't know, I can't remember, is also going to go to the ATEM. So that's what we got going on. Like I said, link is going to be below for everything. If you follow along with this, again, it was a long video because it was a build. I showed everything of if you got every single part with this, what it would take to get it put together. Very simple. Just got to be mindful of a few things, but besides that, Really good. And again, I don't really download games and stuff like this on this, even though the system could run gaming and it could stream, but this is, it's kind of hard for me to test and show to benchmark how this would perform. The main thing is, does it stutter? And it doesn't. I mean, it's like if we put this for streaming, I actually built another one of these for streaming. That's how I told you when I said I messed up the case. Yeah, I don't know about that one because you never saw that video, but I messed the case up. But when I streamed on this same system, same specs, everything except for the deck links, I mean, we were streaming and it was like at 2% CPU. So more than enough power here. But anyway, link is down below for all the parts that I used in this. And also give me about a week. I'll update the website. So if you want me to build one of these for your ministry, this will be the standard of what I use going forward with the systems that I build. So that's about it. So if you like this type of content, appreciate a like, consider subscribing, hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thanks for watching, folks. This is AJ. Catch you on the next video. Later.